one of the major things going on, which Melissa is going to talk with us about today, and it's been happening over, I'd say, the past year and a half, more and more so, more often, is exclusive buyer representation agreements, buyer commissions being paid by buyers themselves versus sellers in some points.
As for buyer's agents agreements, I can remember, Emilio, this at the very beginning of my practice in the early 2000s, that we were seeing basically buyers signing on to an exclusive relationship with their buyer's agent, which means you're not dabbling with other agents. You're not going to open houses by yourself. You're essentially saying, this is my person. And frankly, in a market like this, I think you really do need someone who's going to be advocating for you exclusively. So why not sign a buyer's agent agreement?
Yeah.
And some of those buyer's agents agreements also have an overlay that states that the buyer is willing to compensate their buyer's agent directly. And it can be structured in a lot of different ways, but we are starting to see more and more use of this in the industry. And I think that's true in your office as well, correct?
Well, it is, Melissa. And, one of the things I'd like to throw in right here, because people might say, well, in a time like this, isn't it better off to go to the listing agent? No, it's not always good to go to the listing agent. While you can, yes, listen, you have no representation at that point. And if that one transaction doesn't work, now you're back in the sidelines, you're starting over. Never mind the fact that listing agent works exclusively for the seller, has an exclusive agreement for the seller.
This is also a time right now where sellers are looking very closely at their costs. They're being super careful about the offers that are coming in. So if you are putting forth that you maybe even have agreed to compensate your buyer's agent, then perhaps the listing agent has more flexibility with the seller. And that is something that we're starting to hear is happening out west and in other jurisdictions where buyers are offering to pay commissions, either in total or in part. So I can't help but wonder if this buyer's agent commission that we're starting to see enter the marketplace here in Rhode Island, which is more geared truly, I think, for compensating buyer's agents who are working their tails off right now.
Yes.
Because we know that buyers aren't getting the properties. They're putting in offers sometimes 2, 3, 5, 10. Up to 10 times before their offer is being accepted and their dream house is being come to fruition and realization. So those buyer's agents are working tirelessly hour over hour for these buyers without compensation, which is the point of this should be an additional compensation structure, which I think is most of the time what it is, beyond what the listing agent is offering to the buyer's agent. But there may even be a shift. I don't know if the thread will change where the buyer's agents are saying, hey, I'm going to comp my buyer's agent so the listing agent can, maybe sweeten the pot for the seller or do something different.
Almost all top-notch real estate agents are having their clients sign buyer exclusive agreements. I mean, we do on DiSpirito team because it also protects them. And it also gives them a whole list of stuff we're going to do for them. And it sets the expectation. This is what we're going to do for you. This is what our exclusive agreement means together. And it's a win-win situation. Yeah.
There are lots of ways that the financial compensation components can be structured besides just the, hey, you're my guy, you're my girl, realtor. It's also, well, how are we going to be compensated? Where there'll be a delta or a difference of compensation that the buyer will pay above and beyond what the listing agent's offering in the event that I'm not getting a threshold, an X number, because that is, I hate to say industry standard, but that's what their compensation should be or would normally be.